Aye. Roll call, please.
David Payne.
Here.
Tim McLaughlin.
Here.
Forrest Sutton.
Here. Is there a motion for approval of the minutes from our last meeting of February 9th?
So moved.
Second. Second. Any discussion about the minutes?
No.
Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So minutes is being approved. Don't see anything for old business, so new business, Chris?
For the record, Chris Jones, Director of Stormwater Management. We've got Adam Stone here from Stone Municipal Group to give us a report on the year-end rate review.
Good afternoon or good evening. Good to see everybody in person. I trust that you've all had a chance to look through the packet. This is really going to be an executive level briefing. We'll try to be concise. In the actual packet, there's the full income statement, balance sheets, et cetera, that we would encourage you to look at. Those have the comparable 2021 to 2020 results as well for comparability. But for the sake of today's public presentation, we'll go ahead and get started. I'll figure it out. It's just user error. Okay. So again, the purpose of this is we started this last year after the rates were adopted and reestablished as a quarterly milestone. There's a municipal code requirement to do an annual rate sufficiency before an independent body, just to each year, each period, look at the current utility rates, make sure that they were sufficient for the upcoming budget expenses. So we've adopted a process that does this essentially on a quarterly basis to make sure the plans are being updated in a more timely fashion. So contents of the report are year-to-date summaries. Most importantly, in my professional opinion, one of the charts that's coming is the actuals to the plan. So in this case, the plan is defined as the rate forecast that we had that you all adopted over a 5-year period of time. Okay, so that is our target, and then we're tracking actuals to that. So here are those two results. So there's quite a bit of information embedded in these two charts, so I'll spend a few moments here, the majority of today's presentation, on this slide. The first chart on your left is looking at cash or fund balance, specifically in this case, cash and investment balances at the end of the year, in this case, 2021. So the green amount is the actual cash. So you ended just short of $3.5 million in cash and investments at the end of 2021. And you can see that compared to the blue values, which are the targeted cash positions throughout the study period. So we ended 2021 with actually more cash than planned. One of the primary causes for that was the Madison capital contribution got carried over and is actually still yet to be distributed. So while it's appropriated and encumbered and committed for that purpose, it's yet to be drawn upon. So that's essentially $1 million of that. The second amount, as you'll see here in a moment, it actually exceeded the revenue forecast as well as the plan. It was almost exclusively tied to a grant relative to FEMA that was received last year that actually got us additional $450,000 in cash that was above and beyond the forecast. So that's our cash reconciliation. What I will say is you'll see in the blue charts, you do see that the forecast is actually to spend down cash over the study period, and that's through capital expenditures. So it's something the finance department, city controller, and I monitor and discuss. Make sure that we're looking at bond issuances as well as just cash positions to make sure that we're trying to take all that into consideration. So when you look at the chart to the right, that's looking at revenues and expenditures relative to the forecast. So the two lines that are highlighted or below, if you will, are the targeted lines. And what's a little confusing here is that the orange line is actually the expense forecast. The blue line is the revenue forecast. And again, the actual rate study did plan for the first few years expenses exceed revenue to pull down cash. In that case, you see that the solid fill lines, blue being actual revenue, the solid gold line being actual expenditures, are right in line with forecasts, but we're actually slightly below expense and slightly above revenue. So in that case, we exceeded our revenue forecast and we came under our expense forecast, which is another driving reason why we had the excess cash in 2020. I know there's quite a bit to take in there, but again, this is something that we will continue to come back to for comparability purposes, and we'll see how, as we get into Q1 2022, how those results shake out relative to plan. So looking at actuals to the plan, we covered that quite extensively in the visual. So just to be brief, we did exceed our planned revenue for 2021 was just under 3.4 million. You came in at 3.8 million with about $450,000 in federal grant proceeds being the primary reason you exceeded. When we this afternoon, when you adjust for that grant, you came in at just under $3.3 million in billable operating revenue. So about 99% of the revenue forecast. Operations maintenance expenses came in slightly less than projections. Debt service came in less as well. And then the anticipated Honey Creek bonds actually pushed into 2022, which created additional budget savings in 2021. Capital outlays came in pretty close, booked at almost 1.8 million, expended in the year, carried over an additional $1 million, committed as well. And fund balance noted there, just shy of 3.5 million. The required fund balance as required by bondholders is $409,000. You get significant coverage above those requirements. This chart just looks at your quarterly, your revenue and expenses on a monthly basis. Only thing I would point out here is quarterly billings continue to grow. Actually, one other noteworthy thing, this is something we have the opportunity to look at this in different functions of the city. One of the things that is unique for stormwater is the percent of expenditures to capital improvements. So while this is tracking cumulative capital expenditures, 49% of every dollar spent is getting reinvested in capital outlays. That's pretty high in local government. In most cases, you usually see 60–70% of the budget in salaries and wages, those kind of things, and a lot in supplies, materials, services. And so I do think that's something that you all should be aware of. And I think from a ratepayer standpoint, that's something also to be mindful of. So in layman's terms, essentially half of every dollar they pay in their bill is getting reinvested in stormwater infrastructure. Budget versus actual, we've covered this quite a bit, so I won't bore you too much here. There was one line item that was negative fund balance. That was the line item for the FEMA grant. So when you adjust for the $450,000, that makes that and then the capital improvement plan. This is the most updated version. It's actually already a little behind. There was some email today on changes there, so we'll make sure for the Q1 report we get that adjusted. There's been some changes with some of the downtown planning and that's coming. But as far as big ticket items, that's definitely visible. We have work going on underway right now on replanting of Honey Creek Bridge. We have various downtown projects that are being discussed. There's some conversation with the project on Worsville Road, as well as still the Madison contribution as well, all still in the works. That is pretty much it. Yep, and it just goes into your more detailed schedules. I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have. As far as one thing that we did not cover that I should have is debt outstanding. You matured your existing bonds in 2021. So as of today, actually as of last year, there's no debt, long-term debt outstanding against the utility. That will likely change when we issue the street bonds, but for the time being, you're debt free. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. Also, if there's any additions you'd like in our standard report, we'll make sure to include that for Q1. Otherwise, we'll be back in April and provide an update on this year's progress.
Any questions? Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Adam. All right.
So Precedent South.
Okay, next item, yes, Precedent South. Okay, so this was a project that we began, oh gosh, I guess it's been a couple of years ago, under design. We have a backup of stormwater in the entire system over there. We keep running into obstructions of some sort, so I've reached out to Western to get some proposal for a redesign. At this time, I'm not going to present that to the board because I'm going to look into this a little bit further and see if we can find some other cost savings. So we could continue. If we don't need to continue it, I'll put it back on the agenda when necessary.
Okay.
All right. Second item we have, or third item, is the Nature Center improvement. So as you are aware, in our capital projects, we do have our 5-year plan. We have improvements to the Nature Center and education outreach department there. We earmarked funds last year, but we're going to think instead of retaining general contractor, we're going to see what we can do, save costs ourselves. So I just wanted to show you this, first picture. So on the left is after we cleaned it out of a lot of our equipment, we took down that concrete separator wall. You can see there in the middle. And so that was, the water department put that in, to treat different stages of the water that they pump down. And I tell you what, that thing was robust, and there's so much rebar in it. But I tell you, Mike Weaver, our inspector there at the department, did a fantastic job. He was covered in dust for 2 or 3 days, working tirelessly on that. So what we do have is a proposal from a local group. We want to have a uniform floor throughout. And so we did get a proposal from, one second, I'll grab that. Monster Coat. They're actually out of Franklin. This is some of their work they provided to us as examples. And so what I'd like to do is enter into an agreement with them to do the grinding and seal coat on the floor at the Nature Center and Testing Lab in an amount not to exceed I forgot my glasses.
$27,938.
That's it. That is it. And then authorize the Stormwater Director to sign on the board's behalf.
Terms and conditions as approved by the legal department and authorize the superintendent to sign in the board's behalf.
That's correct.
So is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All right.
Yes, how many square feet is that? I'm sorry, David, I didn't interrupt.
That's okay.
Oh, you know what? I don't know off the top of my head.
The quote has 4,139.
Yeah.
Thank you.
There you go. And so can we flip back a picture to the condition? Yeah. So is that water?
That's just water.
Is that from our last rain? Or is that-
Oh, no, that's from a hose. He
Oh, okay.
hosed off all the dust.
Okay. Are there any questions? Any other questions, discussion? All right, so all in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 All right, I have another add-on. Okay, so our mitigation, our FEMA flood and grant mitigation closed at the end of last year. We have one additional house that was part of the original, but they weren't quite ready. They reached out to us in the past month, and they're interested in our mitigation grant. It's going to take a few years, and they're the only remaining parcel that is interested, that's in the floodway. So what I'd like to do is to be able to purchase this outside of the grant and just use our standing funds. We do have budgeted $100,000 for flood mitigation purposes. We think this is going to cost a little bit more. What I would like to do is transfer, and it's still within the 400 series, transfer $100,000 out of our 442 infrastructure account into the 441 land account, and then engage in negotiations for the purchase of 1021 Omar Lane.
Do you need to do that before we do the negotiations, or so you have an amount?
Well, and the other thing, if we expect that it's gonna cost over 25,000, we're supposed to get 2 appraisals. We're not supposed to offer, so we'd have to do all of those things. So you're authorizing, I would assume, the transfer and then all the necessary things to be done.
Correct. That's what I'm requesting.
Okay. All right. Motion.
I'll make the motion.
Sense? I'll second that. All right, any other discussion on this?
No.
All right, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.
That's all I have for new business.
All right. Anything from the audience? Is there anybody on Zoom? Not hearing anybody. All right, reports. Anything from our council?
No, sir.
All right. Engineering? Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Legal Bay have provided the engagement letters with TAPT and LWG. We are asking for you to approve the engagement letter and addendums for those two entities to work as our financial counsel and bond counsel on the Honey Creek bonds. They would get paid from the bond proceeds, so if we don't end up doing that, or if that project gets delayed, it doesn't get paid out until we actually issue a bond, but we do need to get them engaged so that they can start that work.
I did not provide
You don't
that
have
to
that
them.
yet?
No, because I sent it to you to my work. Yes. I received a proposed engagement letter from TAP, Stetson, and Hollister to be bond counsel for the 2022 stormwater revenue bond issuance, and also from LWG to be the financial advisor. An engagement letter, I prepared addendum for each of those. So it's the terms that we normally approve, and they would be paid out of the bond proceeds. And I think that TAP's fee was $50,000, and I do not recall LWG.
LWG is usually 22 or 25.
25 is what I'm thinking. $1,000. So
It comes from the bond itself.
yeah, and those are paid out of the bond proceeds. So we would need a motion to approve the engagement letter with LWG as financial advisor, amount of $25,000 for the 2022 stormwater revenue bond issuance. Would you one motion?
Their motion?
I'll make that.
Okay.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 And then the second motion would be to approve the engagement letter with TAPT, Stetson, and Hollister to act as bond counsel for the 2022 stormwater revenue bond issuance in the amount of $50,000.
I'll make that motion.
All right,
I'll second.
all right, all in favor, say aye.
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 So you're aware, shouldn't get to the point that we are going to issue those bonds, we'll bring that back to the board, so you still have more oversight on that end as well.
Thank you.
All right, Chris, back to you.
All right. Looks like we have 3 different operation maintenance manuals. I'll introduce them one by one. First will be from Rise Commercial Storage Phase 2. This O&M manual has been reviewed by staff. We find it to be acceptable. So we would request approval and authorize the mayor to sign the board's behalf. I'm sorry, request acceptance.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll move.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 The second one is from Lions Head Commercial. Once again, we've had reviewed the operation maintenance manual, find it to be acceptable. And recommend acceptance and authorize the mayor to sign the board behalf.
Make the motion.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 And the third item will be from the Laser and Light Surgery Center. Operation manual was found to be acceptable. Authorize or recommend acceptance and authorize the mayor to sign on the board's behalf.
So.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All 3 is being accepted.
Okay, on to the quick thing on the field report. We collected 10.25 tons of debris street sweeping. That cost $441.93. 1.92 tons of debris for miscellaneous jetting and potholing, $194.52. 3.65 inches of precipitation, 37.5 average temperature, 211 work orders initiated, 190 completed. That's up like 25% from the previous month. 12 requests initiated, 17 completed, 1,505 locates, 17 ESC permits, 52 ESC inspections, 25 hotspots cleared, 4 stormwater management permits, 45 stormwater management inspections. And education outreach, we attended the Johnson County Partnership for Water Quality meeting. All I have.
All right, good. All right, anybody from the mayor's office on Zoom? All right, commissioners, have anything else to say?
No, sir.
Is there a motion for approval of our claim dockets?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay, all in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, anything else to come before the board before we adjourn? We will be adjourned at 4:24. Thank you.